It was a quiet Saturday afternoon. The sky was overcast, and the air smelled of damp earth, as if it might rain at any moment. Wendell, a simple man who lived in a small house in the countryside, decided to take advantage of the mild weather to clean up his backyard. He grabbed his hoe, his rake, and began clearing away the dry leaves that had fallen from the old trees surrounding his property. He worked absent-mindedly, immersed in the sounds of birds and the rustling of the leaves, when something on the ground caught his attention. Among the piles of branches, he saw a small cluster of white, round objects, about the size of marbles. But what impressed him the most was the fact that they were stuck together, as if they were part of a single organism. He approached slowly, feeling a strange sensation in his chest, a mix of curiosity and unease. As he crouched down to get a better look, he realized they were eggs, small ones, with a slightly translucent shell, through which something seemed to be moving inside. Wendell's heart started to race. What could they be? Insects? Frogs? There was only one way to find out. Carefully, he picked up one of the eggs and, using a small pocket knife, made a tiny cut in the shell. As soon as he opened it, he instinctively recoiled. Inside was a tiny creature, but Wendell recognized it immediately. It was a small snake, still coiled up, with eyes that already seemed open, watching him. He stood frozen for a few seconds, feeling a chill run down his spine. They were baby snakes, and not just any snake. By their appearance, Wendell knew they were jararakas, venomous and dangerous, even when newly hatched. Now he understood the risk he was facing. If those eggs hatched there in his backyard, his home and his family would be in danger. Without wasting time, Wendell carefully gathered the rest of the eggs, there were almost a dozen, and placed them in a cardboard box. He decided to take them to the forest, about 500 meters from his house. There, they would be in their natural habitat, far away from people. When he reached the forest, he chose a quiet spot between the roots of a large tree and placed the eggs on an improvised nest of leaves. He took a deep breath, feeling relieved, thinking he had done the right thing. But as he turned to leave, he heard a sound that made his body freeze, a heavy rustling among the dry leaves. Slowly, he lifted his gaze, and just a few meters away, he saw the mother snake, an enormous jararaca, standing still, staring at him with cold eyes. For a moment, Wendell thought it was the end, but surprisingly, the snake simply slithered over to the eggs, circled around them, and stayed there, as if guarding her young. Without thinking twice, Wendell slowly backed away and left the scene. When he finally reached the trail back home, he let out a long sigh of relief. That day, he learned two things: that nature has its own rules, and sometimes the best choice is simply to respect them. Now tell me, what would you have done in his place? Leave it here in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more amazing stories like this one.